Hello, VidTalks. Just wanted to tell you another little story, one of my adventures. So there was this one time where we're in Afghanistan, and one of the main roads that we travel down uh, has a lot of ID. Well, the enemy was putting a lot of bombs on the side of the road, and so we wanted to go ahead and put a stop to that. We wanted to go ahead and just as you're putting, we put out a couple of forward observers. Forward observers are these artillery guys that go out and they search for targets, right? Targets, uh, usually behind enemy lines, for the artillery to, we call them fire missions. Want to throw some artillery out there? All right, that's what we do. So usually we go in a man, small group, strongman team, and usually like three. Three is like the minimum. And so we went out there on the side of this mountain, and we wanted to go ahead and set up a observation post. Right, and this is in the middle of the night. So we go up there into this side of this mountain, and we're setting up this observation post, and then all of a sudden, I got like 15 enemy combatants moving up in my position. So I try calling base so I can do a fire mission. Base can't hear me. I don't have communication with the base. We're so far out. We have pushed so far out that the only one I have communication with is one of the other observation posts is closer to the base. So I call him up and I say, hey, look, I'm about to be overtaken. And what I need you to do is you kind of know where I'm at. I don't have a chance right now to really give you my grid because, right now we're moving up this mountain. We're moving up further up the mountain for a better position, defensive position. So the guy's like, okay, I kind of know where you're at. Let me see what I can do. I said, what I need you to do is throw an illumination round. An illumination round is nothing more but a huge flare. It lights up like the sun, and with that, we're able to identify targets at night. It lights up a huge area. And so I said, yeah, if you can give me that flare out here, then I can kind of tell you where I am in reference to it, and then we can get some high explosive artillery on these guys. But at this point, I cannot work up the fire mission. I'm too busy trying to just move my position up the mountain to get a better defensive position, and I don't know how long I can last out here. So at this point, I did see that the enemy had moved up to a certain point and they stopped. And then they kind of broke off in three different parts. So one part went to the left, one part went to the right, and you got the one that was staying there. So I know they're trying to basically surround us because they see us. They can identify, they see there's somebody up there. So we get to a point where we can't move no more. Can't, it's really not much further we can go. All right, we're kind of like the top of this big old giant rocks, like a rocky mountain is what it looked like. So really nothing to really, you just can't just keep going up, so we got to stand our ground. So I tell these guys, I said, look, I got a red star cluster. It's this tube inside of it. You hit the bottom of it, and it's gonna shoot out this flare, big old red flare. I said, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and get these guys to stop moving up on us. I'm gonna hit them with this. I'm gonna shoot this flare up, and then at that point, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna open fire on these guys. All right, even though we're outnumbered, what else are we supposed to do? We gotta fight it out. Just can't just give up. So I take that flare and I hit it against my knee. Flare goes up. Those guys duck down. The heck is that? The moment the flare went up, right before we start opening up, poof. The other guy that I had talked to about sending me a fire mission, with a flare, the flare came in. Poof. Big old beautiful flare. Big, as bright as the sun. All right. And as soon as these guys that were coming up on us, the moment they see that there's a red flare and then they got this artillery flare coming out, they know for a fact that we're Army. We ain't just anybody. Oh, they're coming up on us, the Army. So they pull out their little flashlights and they start flickering their flashlight, and they're just like, hey. It ended up being, it was the Afghan army. They thought that we were the enemy, and we thought that they were the enemy because the area that we're in is normally occupied by a bunch of enemy. So, so luckily, this could have been a horrible situation. I don't think I would have made it out of there at all. But luckily, you know, this fire mission that I called in, or I was able to get in, the other guy was able to bring it in, definitely saved our lives, you know. And sometimes it's a term, it's called blue on green, right? Sometimes when you have friendly fire from other units, it could even be Army against Army. It could be, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you don't have the situational awareness of who's around you and what's going on, because they didn't know we were operating. We didn't tell them we were operating in this area. They didn't tell us that they were operating in this area. So it just so happened we were both operating in a well-known enemy territory, and we thought we were the enemy, each one of us. So it ended up being a good thing. However, it didn't mean that I didn't pay for it in the end somewhere down the line, because we're doing QRF. QRF is Quick Reaction Force. And part of that QRF meant that we had to go out when some people got, you know, if they got blown up or what have you, we would have to react. And so there's one particular time, because like I told you, this highway, this one main road, they were putting bombs, a lot of bombs on there. So, you know, when a vehicle gets blown up, we go out there and secure the area. We help secure the area to help, you know, recover the injured and the, you know, the vehicles and stuff like that. So this one time we're out there. We had been out there for several different QRF missions, and we were into the way late hours of the night, and my driver at the time had gotten tired. You know, we had been up over 24 hours out in the sector, and so I told him, you know what, I'll drive. You just sit over here in the passenger side, you know, because I'm usually I'm the guy in charge, sits in the passenger side. So I said, you know what, I'll drive. You go ahead and, you know, just sit over there. So we're heading towards this area close to where I was at, where I got engaged, you know, where we did this fire missions, you know, and we're coming across this bridge. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what, I don't want to bunch up on this bridge, you know, because normally you want to have spacing between the bridge. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and back off. So I let off the gas. I start to back off, and as soon as we do, boom! Big old explosion. I got hit by an IED. Now, when you get hit by an IED, it's a shock. I was in an up armored Humvee this time, and we ended up surviving because we were in the up armored Humvee. My gunner, who was on top, we had been out so late, and he had actually, you know, he was tired, slumped in, and that saved his life. Had he been up, easily could have got hit. So, you know, there's times where the enemy wants to, I don't know, punch your ticket. Is your time to clock out? You know what I'm saying? But when it ain't your time, it ain't your time, and that's what happened. Had I let my driver actually drive, had I let him, and he would have just been going along the same distance with everybody else, there's a good chance I wouldn't be here because then we would have been so close to the explosion, it would have hit us on the side of the vehicle. Instead, it hit us from like in the front because I had slowed down, and the guy wasn't anticipating that. So when you go through these ordeals and you wonder if it is your time, it's not. It's not for you to say sometimes. Sometimes it's you do the right actions, you do the right course of actions. You take the right precautions. Sometimes you can actually survive situations that normally you wouldn't be able to. So with that being said, even out here, even back here in the civilian world, you have to be, always trying to be on a defensive posture, I would say. Like they say, defensive driving. You know, so sometimes it helps. It helps to be cautious. It helps to be, thinking outside the box sometimes because you never know when it's actually going to just save your life. All right. With that being said, I will talk to y'all later.